Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann. I'm also known as the Habit Fixer, and I love helping women regain their mojo and age well. And I do that with a tapping technique called EFT, nutrition, skincare, and digital products. And my guest today, what can I say about her? She's absolutely scrummy, and she does a really amazing job when it comes to business co-piloting. Her name is Ellcie Moore, and she helps people with their customer services, with their operational services, and also with sales. So that might be something that you're interested in. And today, I think, Ellcie, you're going to be talking about 5 habits to delegate your way to success, aren't you?
I am indeed.
Brilliant. So if you are watching and you're listening and you really want to start delegating, then listen up. So I'm just going to hand straight over to you.
Thank you. Firstly, massive thank you for having me on. Very, very pleased to be here and talk through the rather sexy world of delegation. It's quite a hot topic. It's one of those ones that can be a little bit divisive. It's not always right for everybody. There's a time when it's right to delegate, and there's a time where it's absolutely okay just to sit and enjoy the energy that comes from doing things yourself if that's what's right for you. So just want everybody to go into this knowing you are not being preached at. You're not being told to do things differently if you enjoy the way you do it now. So the art of delegation, and it is an art form. There are definitely ways that it can be done really well, and there are ways where it can be done that don't necessarily work for everybody involved. So it's about tapping into the elements of doing it that work for you and the people that you have within your team or are looking to take into your team, to strengthen it, to allow you to grow, to allow you to focus on strategy, on driving new revenue into your business, or if you're more driven by the personal, what allows you to spend more time doing the things that you love in or out of your business. There's no right or wrong driver. So what is the definition of the art of delegation? I like to use ChatGPT as my little kind of grounder here because we all like to have our own definitions. So I'm just going to read what ChatGPT gave me because I actually quite liked it this time round. The art of delegation is a strategic skill that involves entrusting tasks, responsibilities, and decision-making authority to the others whilst maintaining accountability for the outcome. And I think that's a really important thing to remember, is that ultimately this is your baby. It's either your business or it's your deliverable, your target that you're looking to achieve. So empowering people to make decisions is different from them being ultimately responsible for the outcome. That's usually a team thing. It's not simply about offloading work, but giving a deliberate process aimed at maximizing efficiency, fostering growth, and achieving those goals. So, as I say, sometimes ChatGPT can be a bit dry. This time, I think it's actually really nailed what my definition would have been, which probably shows I spend too much time on there. So, as small business owners, or even team leaders, it doesn't have to be about your business. You can be working within a team, and these habits will still help you to make the most of working with other people and utilising the skills of those around you. But generally speaking, most of us are wearing many hats. We're trying to do many things, and there comes a point where there is only so much you can do yourself, and you either need an extra pair of hands or sometimes a bit of technology to help you with that. The first habit that I want to touch on, and it's probably the biggie for me, it's setting the foundations for success in delegation. And it's identifying what you want to delegate. There's a lot of times, so with sort of virtual assistant and business management hats on, where you speak to people, and understandably, because we all can relate to it, we've all been there ourselves, you know you need to give something over to somebody else, you know you need help and you are at maximum capacity, but you don't potentially know what it is that you need to give over, or at least not what you need to give over first. So to touch on a couple of those pointers that might help you to identify. I like to use a timesheet when I'm speaking to people that are looking to start delegating tasks out to people, because I think we can sometimes be quite critical of ourselves. And when we look at the time we're spending on a task, we can often apply should to everything we're doing. Okay, so how much time did you spend answering these emails today? Oh, well, you know, it should really have only taken me about an hour. okay, but how much time did it take? Let's actually look at kind of calendar or diary management. How much time was spent on that task today? If it took you 4 hours to answer 3 emails because they were from unhappy customers, or they were on a task that you just don't love doing, so you poured over everything else and distracted yourself, it's taking too much time and energy. It still took you that 4 hours to do that task. So be honest on this timesheet. It is only for you. No one is going to judge you. So the timesheet allows you to have a look at what task it is you're doing, the duration of time you're spending on it. And as I say, this is just for your eyes. So don't lie to yourself. Be honest, because those ones where you feel the want to hide it are probably the ones that need the most attention. Is it important? Actually, is it something that maybe used to be useful that doesn't serve you as a business owner or a team leader now and could just be let go? Is it driving revenue or enabling growth for you? Can it be done by anybody else? And that's really important for people that are maybe in regulated businesses, that access to certain information can only be managed by the person that is authorised to have that. So that's really important to consider. It might be that you are a coach and that customer facing time only you can do. Do you enjoy it? If you don't, that's okay. It probably still needs doing. However, the stuff you don't enjoy is probably that stuff that we should hand over as early as possible to give you back time to breathe and to focus on the stuff you're good at and to use that energy efficiently. Can it be automated? Don't ever overlook, yes, I am a human that helps people to get time back in their day, but there are so many glorious tools out there that can be used to do that as well. If you can automate something instead of handing it over to a human, it may feel like it's a slightly clunkier investment in time and money initially, but generally those things reap the rewards tenfold in the duration of time that you're using them. So don't ever overlook the potential of letting a bit of technology do it for you, taking away the possible element of human error. Yeah, so keep a track of those. The ones that you don't enjoy, if you don't enjoy them and they need to be done, I genuinely think there's nothing wrong with handing them over to somebody first, and being clear about what it is that you're looking for there. So anybody that comes at you and says, oh, the first thing you need to hand over is your inbox management, I did it and it saved my life. That's their version. That's what worked for them. You do not have to apply that to you. Do what is right for you. It will set you up for success. You will have a better experience, is my first tip. Habit number 2, clearly defining expectations and goals. And again, if this is your first time, this is probably going to feel a little bit against the grain because you manage things yourself. You have your own expectations and goals, but you've possibly not had to communicate them to anybody else for them to be able to help support you. But it is really important because people cannot support you and help deliver on your timelines if they don't know what they are. Clearly defining what is needed does really help with that autonomy piece. It removes the need for you to want or to have to micromanage a project. If you can give such clear definition of what is needed, by when, and the deliverables of it, you feel more comfortable to just hand that over and know that it is in safe hands. It fosters this real feeling of accountability. As much as you don't feel the need to micromanage, the person you have given that task to feels empowered. Autonomy is a fabulous, fabulous thing. And the moment we have that, personally, my view is the moment I've got that autonomy and I am delivering something for somebody that has entrusted me with that, I put 100 times more into it than when I know somebody is leaning over me, pointing a finger. I think it's just a human condition, isn't it, that we all like to have that bit of empowerment. So working with the right people and giving them that autonomy, you will get so much more from them. So again, that's a muscle to be built. If it doesn't work the first time round, don't beat yourself up over it. It's a learning experience. realise maybe where some changes can be made and come back at again from a different angle. And also maybe keep in mind the relationship that you have. Are you not empowering that person because potentially you're not quite sure the skill set is a good match? There's some things in there to be considered as well. Leveraging the skills of your existing team. Now that's going to sound like a bit of a wonky one for people that are potentially going into this for the first time, but do bear with me. If you have maybe an accountant that you're working with to do your end of year tax return, and something on your list is raising your invoices or submitting your receipts, doing your bookkeeping. If you have a great trusting relationship with your accountant that's doing your end of year tax return already, why not give them some of the work that you need to pass over? Because you've already got that trust. You already know that they're in your team. They know your business. And they want you to win. They want to help you to succeed, whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. So it may not be that you've got a team of people already under you. You might not have a VA. You might not have a social media manager, whatever it is. But those people that you do have, tap into that and see if there is other ways that you can utilize their skills. If you do already have maybe a team of 2 or 3 in the business, look outside of their skill set and maybe more at those softer skills that they have and where they could be used elsewhere in your team. We can really easily get blinkers as to this person is a social media expert. That's great, but it may be what their primary skill is, but you look at the way that they're answering the messages you get on social media and think, my goodness, I love their tone. They'd be amazing at answering customer service emails. Have the conversation. They may be open to it. So don't kind of go blinkered. And if you do have a few people in your business or in your extended network that feel like a good fit for you in terms of skill sets and personality, follow your kind of gut instinct on that. Let yourself be drawn into those people because they're probably on the right page for you and your business. And because you have that great connection with them, you're going to feel a natural draw to be able to hand things over with a little bit more comfort. Next one to touch on is establishing open lines of communication. Effective delegation requires open and transparent communication, both ways. It needs you to, as we've mentioned earlier, to hand over those tasks to people in a way that allows them to do a great job for you. The chances are we're not all going to nail it first time. Things get lost in communication. So being as clear as you can is great. However, it not just being an incoming funnel of information is really important. Creating a dynamic where that person can just openly ask questions. And those questions may sometimes feel a little bit like you're being challenged within your business. It may feel as if somebody's saying, are you mad? Why are you doing it this way? Stick with it, because those whys from somebody with fresh eyes actually help us to get to a really efficient process within our business. And again, not particularly sexy topic, is it, process, but we all have them, whether they are defined yet or not. We all have steps we follow within our business. And for somebody to be able to understand why each step is taken, it's a really good validator for the fact that we're still doing the right things for where we are today. It's also a really good way of understanding the knock-on effect of doing something well or not doing something well. And again, if that person has that autonomy and understands the impact it will have on other parts of your business, you're really helping them to make good informed choices as to what they prioritize or the way in which they go about a task. And if time is of the essence and something has to drop, well, we know it's not this one because that's going to have a horrible effect on the client further down the field. So we know that's vitally important. This one we can come back to later. It's not. So having that knowledge and that open understanding between the two of you can be really important. Giving and receiving feedback on that communication style. And again, this goes back to the first time you do it, it's going to feel clunky and horrible, and it's perfectly natural to go, well, no, thank you, I'll just do it myself. It feels easier. That's okay if that's what's right for you. However, that discomfort will be temporary, and going through that with the person you're working with will just make it stronger and better. for both of you. You will get a far better relationship, knowing that you can communicate. Very rarely do we walk into a new job, do we start supporting a new client in whatever service or product you're in, and do we nail it first time? We are humans. So it's just a little bit of practice back and forth. Regularly checking in, that feedback going both ways, not just on how are we doing, are we both understanding, but the actual deliverables of the project. Are we feeling like we're on time? If we're not, let's discuss that now. What do we need to enable us to get it back on time? Or do we need to look at, maybe was the timeline or the deliverable date of the project a little bit too tight to start with? The more regular check-ins, the less last-minute panics you're going to have. If you're speaking weekly about a 6-month project, each week you're going to have a little signal as to whether we're on track or not, and it just avoids those nasty surprises, and again just helps everybody to feel comfortable with the way things are moving along. Yeah, trust. It has to be there. You both have to feel comfortable to communicate openly with each other, and it sounds so simple and so daft, but how do you feel it's going is the simplest question that can just create a situation where you can both exchange your thoughts and feelings on it all really openly, and help to get in there to win. Habit 5, empowering the trust and your team. It's kind of following on from that same vibe, but delegation works best when you can let go, when you know that you can trust that person to do exactly what you need of them. It's sometimes a sticky one. I know I'm a horrible hypocrite. I have things delegated to me constantly. That is my role, and I love that. Do I feel deeply comfortable delegating things outwards? No, that is an area that I need to improve on, but this is where going through these steps is really helpful to me. Why don't I feel comfortable passing it on yet? Is it actually that I don't want to? Is it because I enjoy that tempo of the business and I like that energy that comes from juggling many things? Yes, it is. But does that enable me to focus on the future and grow? So yes, that's the kind of basics of delegation. It's sometimes looked at as a luxury, I think, to be able to do it. However, I think looking, and again, slightly sort of boring numbers-based things, look at the facts of what is your time worth to you, either in terms of how you can bring revenue back into business, how you can be focused on the growth and the strategy for getting you to where you want to go, or for the time that you want to spend traveling the world, you want to spend in the gym getting healthy, you want to spend with your friends and family experiencing things, whatever it is you want to use that time on. Does paying somebody else to come in and help enable you to achieve that better your business and overall your general lifestyle? And I think most of the time the answer to that is probably yes, once we get through that discomfort of doing it for the first time and doing it right or wrong. I think you're on mute there, my lovely.
Gosh, can't even get that right. That was absolutely brilliant. There was so much in what you shared, and I really appreciated your honesty as well, that actually sometimes you have an issue with delegating. And what's so brilliant is the things that you do are the things that me, and I'm sure a lot of other people watching or listening, really don't like doing. And you're right, time is money. And it's really important to get very clear about how much we are spending in terms of time on specific things, especially if those are the things that we don't like. So that was absolutely brilliant. What would you say is the biggest fear that your clients have when they come to you for a consultation initially?
I think sometimes it's letting go, especially if it is a small business owner and this is your baby, you have put your blood, sweat and tears into building it to the place it is now. Handing something over and not having it done your way. And I think there's layers behind that as well, that sometimes it's actually that kind of admittance that maybe somebody else could do it differently to me, and that's not always a bad thing. But I think for the most part, most people struggle to know what to delegate because they don't have the breathing space to step back and look into it all and be, positive about where we can make fixes. It's a lot of us are really busy being busy, and we are genuinely incredibly busy, but it is time well spent to do that timesheet and then to actually look in on the reality of where your time is being spent, where you are busy, and is that the best use of your time? Does it need doing, and doing that sanity check? But I think that's a really big challenge, and understandably so.
Yeah, but being busy is it's not always fun.
It's not.
And for me, I think the more fun we have in our life, and the more we look for ways to feel happy, the more successful in all ways, work and play we can be. So thank you for that, Ellcie, so much. And I suppose part of the reason people don't want to let go is that maybe they think that if they delegate, it means in some way that they failed. And actually that isn't true. So maybe sometimes that's behind it, but I guess you get to the core of what's really happening, and then people can go, phew, actually, no, please take it. Yeah. So thank you ever so much, Ellcie. Obviously, all Ellcie's links will be below this video, so check her out. My links will be there as well. If you've got any questions, you want to get in touch, just do it. Thank you ever so much for watching, listening. I can't get my words out today.
Multitasking. Washing and watching.
I am. So thank you, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, please share it with someone who might need to delegate right now, and subscribe. Why not? Thank you very much.